I'm going to be finishing Restart. Now, remember last time I didn't finish a chapter. So, chapter 29, part 2. I'll start with that. And then we'll move into chapter 30, and that is the final chapter. Okay, here we go. And remember, they're in court, and Shoshana Weber is giving a character witness about Chase. I'm silently pulling for her not to find them. I'm grateful that she doesn't seem to hate me as much as before, but this isn't helping. And, the judge prods, I was harder on Chase than anybody else, she explains, and some of that was justified and some of it wasn't. I guess what I mean is, if I have faith that he's going to turn out okay, you can take it to the bank. And I'm amazed to say this, but I just know he'll be a good person. Huh? It wasn't the kind of testimonial Mr. Landau was hoping for, but it was absolutely honest. For sure, I wasn't expecting to hear the words good person coming from Shoshana, not when she was talking about me. Don't get me wrong. If the Webers forgive me, that would be humongous weight lifted off my shoulders. Mostly, though, I'm just confused. This isn't going at all the way I expected. That's admirable of you to say, Miss Weber, Judge Garfinkel comments from the bench. But that isn't what this hearing is about. Chase is charged with the theft of a Medal of Honor belonging to Mr. Julius Soloway, which nobody denies happened, not even Chase himself. But don't you see, she pleads, if I can misjudge him, anybody can, even a judge. Thank you for your testimony, he tells Shoshana. Let's move along. Would anyone else like to say something on behalf of this young man? A chorus of squeaking chairs, backs, and shuffling feet is louder than it should be. That's when I realize that every single person in the gallery has gotten up. They cross the courtroom in the direction of the witness stand, kids, teachers, parents alike. The only occupied seats belong to my family and Mr. Landau. Everyone else is in line in front of the bewildered bailiff. Video club kids I know I pushed around in the past, teachers whose classes I used to disrupt, football players who thought I deserted them, even Joel and his parents. I stare at them. Practically everyone I know waiting their turn to support the bully who deserves no support at all. They nod encouragingly at me, wave, flash me thumbs up. The picture doesn't last long. My eyes fill with tears, and it's all a blur. I was afraid I might cry at some point during the hearing, but not because of this. This is something I couldn't have imagined in a million centuries. I bite down on the side of my mouth hard, and my vision clears a little. From the bench, Judge Garfinkel gazes at the milling crowd. All right, I get it. He turns to me. This is impressive, and I don't deny that you must have completed an incredible turnaround. But a serious crime has been committed here, and not the first offense either. Chase, can you guarantee that you're no longer the same person who stole Mr. Soloway's medal? I sense salvation so close I can almost reach out and squeeze it. All I have to do is say yes, and I'm off the hook. It's a happier ending than I could have dreamed of. Far happier than I have any right to expect. And yet, how do I know I'm 100% different? As the memories continue to trickle back, it's pretty clear that the old me and the new me aren't two separate Chases. Can I really claim to be no longer the same person? Of course, that wouldn't stop me from telling the judge what he wants to hear. It's what the old Chase would do. Take the easy way out, like the last time Dr. Fritz Wallace' office. Lie, cheat, say anything to beat the rap. I'd be proving that I haven't changed a bit. Okay, Judge Garfinkel, you never know the difference. But I will. And in that instant, I understand that being true to myself is more important than fooling the judge with the power to send me to juvie. I shake my head sadly. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I can't make that guarantee. I feel different. I have no urge to do the things I used to do, but the person who stole the medal was inside me once. I can't promise that he's gone forever. There's almost a wind in the courtroom. All those people deflating at the same time. Shoshana, Joel, Brendan, my parents. Judge Garfinkel lets out a heavy breath. In that case, Chase Ambrose, you've left me no choice. It is the decision of this court. You be reprimanded to the juvenile authorities. Now, hold on just one cotton-picking minute. In the excitement, nobody's noticed that the courtroom doors have flung wide. In shuffles Mr. Julius Soloway, war hero, struggling behind his walker. Around the neck of his one and only suit hangs his Medal of Honor, freshly polished and gleaming. The look in his blazing eyes plainly says he intends to take on the world and win. That gets the judge's attention. I assume I'm addressing Mr. Soloway. Please take a seat, sir. No, I'm not going to take a seat, Mr. Soloway replies belligerently. All this ruckus over a stupid medal? Well, here it is, with its rightful owner. Case closed. Now, let's all go home. It's taco night at Portland Street. The judge is respectful but firm. It doesn't work that way, Mr. Soloway. A crime has been committed here, even if it now has a satisfactory ending. What crime? Mr. Soloway challenges. Chase didn't steal my medal. I loaned it to him. I jumped up. Mr. Soloway, don't. What do you know about it? The old soldier roars at me. You fell on your head and lost your memory. Who are you going to believe, Judge? The fellow who remembers or the fellow who doesn't? Judge Garfinkel frowns. This may be juvenile court, but it's still a court of law. We deal in the truth and only the truth. The truth is, this is a good kid. How many people do you have to hear it from? Mr. Soloway indicates the lineup in front of the witness stand. I'd trust him with my medal any time. Why wouldn't I? Mr. Landau steps forward eagerly. I believe Mr. Soloway has introduced reasonable doubt. The judge snorts a laugh at him. Watch it, counsel. I'm not an idiot. His harsh expression softens. However, in light of the incredible show of community support plus the testimony of the decorated veteran, I'm going to dismiss the charge against Chase Ambrose. He looks me straight in the eye. Don't prove me wrong. I breathe and realize breathing is something I haven't been doing since Mr. Soloway came shuffling through the door. An enormous cheer goes up in the courtroom. I'm hugged, kissed, and high-fived. My hand is pumped to the point where my elbow is jelly. My back is pounded until Dr. Cooperman warns about internal injuries. The football players carry me around on their shoulders. Coach Davenport complains that he hasn't seen this much team spirit all season. There, high above the celebrating supporters, I experience another flashback. It's the state championship from last season, and this is our on-field victory dance. My teammates hoisting the newly crowned MVP up in the air. I slap myself in the face to dispel the memory before I spot Aaron or Bear and spoil it. I'm feeling so many things at the same time. I'm relieved, obviously, but it's also strange to owe so many people such a debt of gratitude. Back on the floor, I say thank you over and over again until my lips and tongue go numb. And when the crowd finally begins to thin out, I realize that the last person embracing me isn't my mother. It's Shoshana. We jump apart, but Joel is already standing there, pointing and laughing. I guess he's not going in the wood chipper after all, he says to his sister. I look at her questioningly. She turns bright red and mumbles, "See you at school tomorrow." She starts to walk away, then turns and echoes Judge Garfinkel's parting words. Chase, don't prove me wrong. Come to think of it, Shoshana would make a pretty good judge. She'd make an even better jury and executioner. I wouldn't want her any other way. When the Webbers leave, I'm down to my last thank you, and this one's the most important. Mr. Soloway has established himself in the front row of the gallery. He's scowling at me. You know, kid, you'd make a lousy lawyer. You almost blew it up there. Mr. Soloway, you know you didn't lend me that medal. He shrugs expansively. I would have. Besides, you have amnesia. I'm old. Who remembers? But think where you'd be if I hadn't been able to get a lift over here. Thank you so much, I quaver, thinking about how hard it is for him to get around. Don't thank me. Thank her. He motions to the back of the courtroom. There, by the door, stands Corinne. One hand holds on to Helene, the other onto the keys of her van. She's beaming at me. It's funny. When I woke up in the hospital at the end of the summer, I didn't even know myself, much less anybody else. I hope I never again experience a feeling that lonely. But today, with my entire future at stake, I wasn't alone. The Chase Ambrose I used to be never would have assembled such support. Mom and Dad, Johnny, probably Aaron and Bear, who have to be worse than nobody as character witnesses. Maybe a few more teammates out of obligation. That would have been the sum total of my cheering section. I follow my family out onto the steps of the courthouse and take a tremulous lungful of free air. How many people ever get a do-over at life? Falling on my head was the best thing that ever happened to me. And for chapter 30, and it's a short chapter, and it is Brendan Espinoza. It has to be the most incredible transformation in the history of middle school. No, not Chase Ambrose, going from thug, bully, sociopath to human being, although surely that's on the top 10. I'm talking about the fact that Kimberly likes me now. I swear, I'm black and blue from pinching myself to make sure I'm not dreaming. But it's 100% legit. I even call her Kimmy. It's like a pet name. Nobody else calls her that. If that's not the real thing, I don't know what is. It was the big fight at Portland Street that did it. When Kimmy saw me sacrificing myself and getting the snot knocked out of me, trying to protect her from Aaron and Bear, that put it over the top. I was like a knight in shining armor, although Kimmy says it's mostly because she was so amazed I wasn't dead. Whatever. Before this, she had trouble remembering my name. Anyway, a bruised jaw is a small price to pay for a girlfriend, especially the most mad awesome one in all of Hiawassee. I'm not even worried that she might go back to her old crush on Chase. It looks like Chase and Shoshana might be starting to turn into something. Not that I'm planning double dates with them anytime soon. No sense playing with fire. Chase played his first football game of the season last week and really tore it up, scoring 3 touchdowns and gaining 180 yards. Shoshana annoyed the crowd by standing in the middle of the bleachers and delivering a long speech about how she isn't a football fan and never intends to become one. Maybe, maybe not. After all, people change. Look at Chase himself, or Kimmy, or the video club. We know less than zero about football, but we got some amazing footage of the game. Coach Davenport liked it so much that he made us the Hurricanes' official videographers. The pep band has a new student music director too, Joel Weber. The players are kind of nice to us now. Well, most of them anyway. Aaron and Bear are still their usual Neanderthal selves. Then again, everything that happened pretty much exposed those two as bullies and delinquents. And they are. Who cares about them? They're kind of outcasts. Chase says even the other Hurricanes pretty much ignore them. Not that those two being losers was ever a newsflash to me. Chase is back in the video club where he belongs. In fact, he's a bigger star there than in football. The word just came in that Warrior took first prize in the National Video Journalism Contest. Chase is the sole winner since Shoshana removed her name from the project when she thought he attacked Joel. Miss DeLeo is trying to get that fixed. The Vidiots have adopted Mr. Soloway as our official mascot. We wanted to make him our official war hero, but he objects to the word hero. He's not too crazy about war either. Well, he may not let us call him our hero, but he's definitely my hero because of what he did in court for Chase that day. But of course, he was a hero long before any of us were born. The United States Army was so convinced of it that they awarded him the very highest honor. Just don't try to ask him about it. I can't remember anything, kid, so don't bug me, he barks in his best crabby old man voice. Talk to Chase. He'll tell you about what it's like to blank something out. Actually, Chase is recalling more and more these days. He's still got a long way to go before his amnesia is totally cured, but every now and then I'll see him in the school halls, gray in the face and haunted, and I know he's just remembered some horrible thing he did in his former life. Poor guy. Maybe one day he'll get used to it and won't bother him so much, but I'm not holding my breath. I always thought the purpose of Video Club was to create something so off the chain that it goes viral and makes you famous. But that's not the point at all. The best thing about Video Club is the people you discover along the way, like Mr. Soloway or Kimmy, or probably never would have noticed me otherwise. Or Chase, who I spent 3/4 of my life being afraid of, and is now one of my best friends. Which doesn't mean that you have to give up on the viral part. Kimmy took my raw footage from One Man Band and edited out everything except for the part where I'm trapped in the tuba, being shot with a fire extinguisher foam. Then she posted it to YouTube under the title Worst Tuba Fail Ever, and it's already been viewed 360,000 times. Unbelievable. I have a viral video. Well, technically it's Kimmy's video, since she posted it on her own account and never mentioned my name, not even once. I'm just the doofus in the tuba, wriggling like a hula dancer and foaming at the mouth. But it still counts. It proves anything is possible. Kimmy and me, a YouTube sensation, even Chase Ambrose turning out to be a nice guy. It's a great story, and we're going to do a little project on it. I'm going to have you do a writing exercise, but we'll do that next week. One thing I like so much is we have some characters. And one thing about characters is that you have static characters and you have dynamic characters. Chase is a dynamic character, and we see the change in him, and he changes throughout the story. Aaron and Bear are static characters. They never change. They're the same at the beginning, and they're the same at the end. Kimmy, dynamic. Shoshana, dynamic. Joel, dynamic. Joel's parents, dynamic. There's a lot of characters in the story that change through the book. But it's a good story, so we'll talk more about it later. I hope you enjoyed it.